something is happening to your sleep right now that you need to understand, because the consequences go far beyond feeling tired in the morning. A study found that for every 1% reduction in deep sleep per year after 60, the risk of developing dementia increases by 27%. Your brain runs a waste clearance system during deep sleep that flushes out the toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease, and it releases the growth hormone that repairs your muscles, maintains your bone density, and keeps your immune system functioning. When something disrupts that deep sleep, even if you technically stay in bed for 7 or 8 hours, your brain never completes its nightly repair cycle. You're lying there with your eyes closed, but the most critical work your body does all day isn't getting done. And for millions of people over 60, the thing disrupting that process is sitting on their kitchen counter or in their refrigerator right now, disguised as something completely harmless. Everything I'm sharing comes from published medical research, but it's meant to inform you, not replace your doctor. Use what you learn here to have smarter, more specific conversations with your healthcare team. Now, here's what makes sleep after 60 fundamentally different from sleep at 40, and why drinks that never caused you problems before are suddenly sabotaging your nights. Your body has changed. Your liver processes things more slowly. Your kidneys work differently. Your bladder holds less. The brain chemicals that regulate your sleep cycle have shifted. And the drinks you've been consuming on autopilot for decades are now interacting with a body that handles them in ways it didn't used to. Nobody sat you down and explained this, so you keep doing what you've always done and wonder why your sleep keeps getting worse. Let me start with the one that's going to be the hardest to hear, because it's something most people over 60 genuinely believe is helping them sleep. The evening glass of wine. Whether it's red wine, white wine, beer, or a cocktail, alcohol does one thing very convincingly, which is to make you feel drowsy and fall asleep quickly. And that's exactly why so many people swear by it as a sleep aid. But what the research consistently shows across every study that's looked at this is that the sedation alcohol produces is not real sleep. Although it shortens the time it takes to fall asleep, it then destroys the internal structure of your sleep for the rest of the night by suppressing the dream stage where your brain processes memories and emotions, fragmenting the second half of the night into shallow stretches of broken rest, and worsening breathing problems during sleep. Even small amounts reduce the stage of sleep linked to memory consolidation, which is the exact brain function that's already declining with age. On top of that, alcohol relaxes the muscles in your throat, which makes snoring and sleep apnea significantly worse, and sleep apnea is already far more common after 60. The person who has a glass of wine at dinner and reports sleep in 8 hours actually got structurally broken sleep, where their brain skipped the repair work it desperately needed. If you enjoy a drink, have it earlier in the evening and with food, and give your body at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. But if your sleep has been deteriorating and you can't figure out why, the nightly wine should be the first thing you look at, because it's the single most common sleep destroyer in this age group. The next one involves something that happens inside your body after 60 that changes everything about how you should think about your afternoon. After 60, your body clears caffeine dramatically slower than it used to. Studies show that in younger adults, caffeine has a half-life of about 3 to 5 hours, meaning half of it is gone in that time. But in people over 65, that extends to 6 to 10 hours. And one study found that adults between 65 and 70 took a full 33% longer to metabolize caffeine than younger people. What this means in practical terms is that a cup of coffee at 2 in the afternoon for a 68-year-old still has half its caffeine circulating in their brain at 10 o'clock at night or even later. They feel fine at bedtime. They fall asleep without difficulty. But their brain cannot descend into deep sleep because caffeine is sitting on the exact receptor that controls the drowsiness signal, blocking it all night long. They sleep for 7 hours and wake up feeling like they got 4, and they blame it on age instead of the coffee they had 8 hours earlier. If you're over 60, your caffeine cutoff should be noon, possibly even earlier depending on your sensitivity. Replace your afternoon coffee with plain water, or if you want something warm, try rooibos tea, which is naturally caffeine-free and doesn't carry the same risks as other herbal teas, which I'm about to get to. Because here's the one that's going to genuinely surprise you, and it involves a bedtime ritual that millions of older adults consider sacred: the cup of chamomile tea before bed. Chamomile does have mild calming properties, and I'm not disputing that. But here's the problem that nobody talks about. The volume of liquid you're drinking within an hour or two of falling asleep is far more impactful on your sleep than the calming effect of the herb inside it. 1 to 2 cups of any liquid consumed close to bedtime fills your bladder, and after 60, bladder capacity decreases, and the kidneys continue producing urine throughout the night more actively than they did when you were younger. The result is that you wake up at 1 in the morning, then again at 3, then again at 5, and each time you get up, you break a sleep cycle. Getting back into deep sleep after being awakened becomes harder and harder with age, which means those bathroom trips aren't just interrupting your rest, they're preventing your brain from ever reaching the stages of sleep where the real repair work happens. The calming effect of chamomile is real but mild. The bladder filling effect is guaranteed and immediate. If you love your bedtime tea ritual, shift it earlier, finish it at least 2 hours before you plan to go to sleep, and keep the amount small, no more than half a cup. A better bedtime alternative is tart cherry juice in a small 4-ounce serving earlier in the evening, which is one of the only drinks with genuine research showing it increases melatonin production and improves sleep duration in older adults, and a small enough amount that it won't send you to the bathroom all night. Now, let me explain something that almost every person over 60 needs to hear, because it solves a mystery that millions of them have been living with and have completely misdiagnosed. If you regularly wake up around 3 in the morning, wide awake, heart beating a little faster than normal, maybe a little sweaty, and you can't get back to sleep for an hour, you've probably blamed it on your bladder, on stress, or on just being old. But there's a very good chance it's none of those things. When you drink something sugary in the evening, whether it's sweet tea, fruit juice, lemonade, or any sweetened beverage, your blood sugar spikes and then crashes several hours later while you're asleep. When your blood sugar drops too low during the night, your body treats it as an emergency and floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline to force sugar levels back up. Those are the exact same stress hormones that wake you up when you're frightened, and they hit your sleeping brain like a fire alarm at 3 in the morning. You don't feel the blood sugar crash. You just feel suddenly wide awake with your heart thumping, and you assume something woke you up, or you just couldn't stay asleep. The sweet tea you had with dinner at 7 caused a hormonal emergency in your bloodstream at 3 in the morning, and you never connected the two. Replace evening sweet drinks with plain water flavored with a slice of cucumber or lemon if you want to taste without the sugar, and watch what happens to that 3 a.m. wake up within a week. Diet soda in the evening carries a different kind of risk that researchers are only now beginning to fully understand. A 2026 study found that sucralose, one of the most widely used artificial sweeteners, induced hyperactivity, insomnia, and reduced sleep quality. Even in caffeine-free versions, the artificial sweeteners in diet soda alter gut bacteria, and the connection between your gut and your brain's sleep regulation is one of the most active areas of research in medicine right now. What appears to happen is that the body tastes sweet, prepares for sugar by triggering hormonal responses, and then the sugar never arrives, creating a kind of metabolic confusion that ripples through the systems controlling your sleep-wake cycle. And plenty of popular dark diet sodas still contain caffeine that people forget about or don't even know is in there. If you're reaching for diet soda in the evening, switch to plain water or unsweetened herbal tea consumed early enough that the fluid volume doesn't become its own problem. The last one is the most unexpected drink on this list, and it's going to catch even the most health-conscious people off guard. Sparkling water, plain, unflavored, no caffeine, no sugar, no sweetener, just water with bubbles. When you drink carbonated water close to bedtime and then lie down, the gas in your stomach expands, increases pressure, and pushes stomach acid upward. Even mild acid reflux that you wouldn't consciously register as heartburn can cause what researchers call micro-awakenings, brief disruptions in your sleep that fragment your cycles without you ever knowing they happened. You wake up in the morning feeling unrested and can't explain why, because as far as you know, you slept through the night. People who switched from soda to sparkling water thinking they'd solved the problem may have eliminated the caffeine and the sugar, but kept the one physical property, the carbonation itself, that disrupts sleep through a purely mechanical process that has nothing to do with chemistry. If you like fizzy water, drink it earlier in the day and switch to flat water in the evening. Your stomach and your sleep will both benefit. Here's what I want you to take away from everything you just heard. None of these drinks is inherently evil.
Coffee is good for your liver. We covered that in an earlier video. A glass of wine can be part of a good life. Chamomile tea is genuinely calming. Even sparkling water is a perfectly fine drink during the daytime. The issue isn't the drinks themselves. The issue is that your body after 60 handles them differently than it used to, and the timing of when you consume them now matters in ways it never did before. Move your coffee to the morning. Shift your tea ritual earlier and keep it small. Replace evening sweet drinks with plain water. Give alcohol at least 3 hours before bed. Save the sparkling water for lunch. And if you want one genuinely sleep-promoting drink in the evening, a small glass of tart cherry juice a couple of hours before bed is one of the few beverages that research actually supports for improving sleep in older adults. Your sleep isn't declining because you're getting old. It's declining because nobody told you that the rules changed, and every evening you've been following the old ones. Now you know the new ones. And the difference they can make, starting tonight, might be the most important change you make for your brain, your body, and the years you have ahead of you. If someone you care about over 60 has been struggling with their sleep and can't figure out why, send them this video today. The answer might be sitting on their nightstand right now.